President Woodrow Wilson. President Woodrow Wilson was born in 1856. He mostly lived in the South as a child. He was very well educated and was the first president to have a doctorate degree. He worked as a professor for many years, and he was elected as governor of New Jersey in 1910. He served 8 years, which was 1913 to 1921, and was part of the Democratic Party. As key events during the first term include the Age of Reformation. During the Age of Reformation, Wilson passed the Underwood-Simmons Act, which reduced tariff on imports and created a new federal income tax, a new Federal Reserve, and a new Federal Trade Commission. Wilson also reformed the working conditions of the working class. World War I started in 1914 in Europe, but USA didn't get involved yet, and a German submarine torpedoed the British liner Lusitania, which killed over 1,000 people, including 100 Americans. And this incident almost led to earlier American involvement in World War I. The Zimmermann telegram was when Germany attempted to create an anti-American alliance with Mexico. The United States got involved in World War I in 1917. World War I ended a year later. The Paris Peace Conference began in January 1919 to negotiate the Treaty of Versailles, and in that conference, Wilson's goal was to have his 14 points emphasized in the treaty, which was a document he written that listed guidelines for a post-war peace settlement. And if you want to see the actual document, go to ourdocuments.org and search 14 points. The League of Nations, which was an organization aimed to maintain international peace, was created. The 18th Amendment was passed in 1920, which banned the consumption of alcohol, and the 19th Amendment was also passed in 1920, which gave women the right to vote. Louis Brandeis was a significant Supreme Court appointee because he was the first Jew appointed to the Supreme Court. Some significant cabinet appointments include William Jennings Bryan, William Gibbons McAdoo, Lindsey Garrison, Josephus Daniels, William Wilson, Franklin Lane, David E. Houston, and William C. Redfield. The reason why these cabinet members were very important was because they provided Wilson advice when deciding whether the United States should get involved in World War I or not. The vice president during Wilson's presidency was Thomas Marshall. Before he became vice president, he graduated from Wabash College. He practiced law for 35 years, and he was the governor of Indiana. The reason why he was a very important vice president was because he was one of the first vice presidents to serve 2 terms, and he held cabinet meetings after Wilson had a stroke during his second term. Wilson had a very religious family. His father was a Presbyterian minister, and his mother was a minister's daughter. He ended up marrying Ellen Axon, but she ended up dying from kidney disease. A year after his wife's death, he married Edith Bowling Galt, and he also had 3 daughters, which were Jessie, Margaret, and Eleanor. Many Americans, especially the Republicans, didn't like Wilson's idea of the League of Nations because they felt that it would hinder international peace instead of supporting it, which is why the Senate disapproved U.S. involvement in the League of Nations twice. Some people also didn't like how the president married only a year after his first wife's death. And Wilson and Marshall didn't agree on whether women should have the right to vote or not. Wilson continued to live in Washington, D.C. after his presidency. He established a law firm. He had very poor health because he was partially paralyzed from a stroke he had during his second term. He ended up dying at the age of 67, and He was a very significant president because his belief that federal and state governments should support the lower classes of society still dominates democratic ideology today, and he helped maintain world peace by creating the League of Nations.